just kicked your own heel?
My heel, yeah, on the back of this bench. I'm like in pain right now.
Hey! Oddly enough, we're still at Michigan Pagan Fest. Go
Shocking,
Yep.
shocking, shocker.
We got 2 more days of this madness that is Michigan Pagan Fest, but thoroughly enjoyable madness.
Oh yeah, it's been incredible. It's been a wonderful experience. It's been a lot of fun to see people that we met last year.
Yep.
A couple of people who came to a class we taught last year.
Yep.
Classes, so we're seeing them this year again. So it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
It's a lot of, and it's like when we were talking to Moira earlier. There's a family atmosphere here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is much more relaxed atmosphere, I think, because it is outside.
Yeah, Gwen and I were talking about this convocation in part because we had scheduled so many interviews.
Yep.
But in part just because it takes place in a hotel. It feels more businessy.
Yep.
And it always felt like I was in a rush
Yeah.
to get to something.
Yeah.
And Michigan Pagan Fest is outdoors.
Yep.
So there's like a little more of a walk between locations.
And
you're going to go out in the sun.
You've got the
back and
energy
forth.
around you.
And there's actually a little more time, I think, scheduled between classes.
Yeah.
So you
There's
can
like-
get from one to the other.
Like 30
There's like
minutes.
30
Yeah.
minutes between classes.
There's a really generous like gap between classes where you can like recharge if you need to. So like you don't ground if you need to, get a snack if you need to, some water if you need to.
I mean, there was a class that I took yesterday that I felt really out of sorts and stuff. And so I was able, with Ode's assistant, she gave me one of her stones,
Yes.
to just take a few minutes, hold that stone, and ground myself. I wouldn't have been able to do that at another event.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had time at convocation
Yeah,
to do
because
that
you had
between
about maybe
classes.
5-10 minutes.
Max
Yeah.
to get from class to class to convocation.
And that's fine because it's a jam-packed
Right.
schedule. There's a
Like
lot
I said,
to
it feels
see
more
and do,
business.
but it's
Right.
it's just a little
More like a
business.
It's more like a networking
Yeah.
meeting,
And that's
this
very
is more
valid.
like
So it's very
family, but
tightly
both are-
scheduled.
But both are great.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Don't
I
make.
wouldn't skip
We don't want you
either.
to think we're like
No.
boo
Go
convocation.
to both.
We
Just
love
go
convocation.
to them with different sort of
Different
expectations.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And for
Yeah.
slightly different purposes, I think.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this time, I expected to be starting to feel kind of lagging and exhausted because we've, had 2 full days now, or day and a half ish.
Yeah.
And but I'm feeling energized. And I do think the location has a lot to do with it. This place has a lot.
Yeah, it's
really
a
great
beautiful
energy.
location.
They have a sacred fire going, and just the calmer, more relaxed atmosphere
Yep.
really does make a huge difference. And like
Owl's
we've had
Perch.
some classes outside. I mean, it's great.
Owl's Perch just started listening to the podcast two days ago and is enjoying it. So
good.
Awesome.
we're glad
you.
you're enjoying it, and we're glad you're watching.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Presumably you're not here at convocation or
At Michigan
We're at
Pagan Fest.
Michigan Pagan Fest. We were
Fest.
just talking about convocation.
I know. We're getting
So hopefully by watching the streams, you can get kind of a vibe
Yeah.
on what happens here, and either come to this next year if you're in this local area, or find one near you that you can
Yeah.
go to.
Yep.
exactly.
And we've had a bunch of people, like I've met a bunch of people
In Florida.
in
Yep.
Florida.
That's
yeah.
okay. Florida Pagan Fest is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
So,
and I've heard good things about it. We'd love to go there someday.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
hoping.
someday we'll branch out of the
We'll
Midwest.
branch out of the Midwest. We'll go to some other places.
We used to live in Florida.
We did.
so-
I was born there technically.
Yep.
I just don't remember any of it.
Not
Yeah.
even technically. You were absolutely born in
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah, but I don't remember anything about Florida. My whole experience with Florida came when I was an adult, and I went to Florida for like a weekend to interview for a job.
Yeah. Yeah. Boynton Beach, baby. Right
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
Hit me
The first baby born on
on
Labor Day.
Yeah.
So they got like Labor Day
Yeah.
rewards.
Yeah. Extra gifts. and
Prizes.
stuff.
The child was very, very much rewarded for being born that day.
Being
My
the first
timing-
Labor Day baby.
my
yeah.
timing-
That's
was good.
Yep.
Good timing. Good timing.
Yep.
But
So Gwen and I just got back from some classes.
Yep.
And we told you what those classes were going to be before,
mhm.
but now that Gwen and I have each gone to 2 of them, we're going to discuss those 2 that we went to in a little more detail. So Gwen?
That's right. Well, first of all, I need the name of my teacher. Okay, the class that I went to was Crafting Magic Mirrors and the Art of Scrying by Michaela Nimu. And it was really interesting. She really talked more about the crafting of the mirror rather than scrying, although we did talk about scrying. But the interesting thing for me in this class was that this is a tradition that's been handed down in her family. her family has been creating
Scrying
mirrors,
Yep.
like from her great grandmother down. So this is and the oils they use and the way they do it, the process is a family tradition. So I thought that was fascinating. Also, most scrying mirrors that you get today, you find that they've been painted black. The technique that she showed us is using smoke and resins and to blacken the mirror. It's a longer process, but you use herbs that are that are going to energize the mirror for prophecy, for divination, for scrying, for your purpose.
Yep.
And so it's just from the very crafting of the mirror. You're building intention into it from the very elements that you use to create the mirror. So she showed us how she did it in the
no Sharpies in these mirrors.
No Sharpies in this mirror. It's all, she was blackening it through the smoke and the resins, and the ash.
Utu, did you want something?
She was just coming to give you guys this.
Oh, come here.
Come here.
We're just talking about classes.
We're just talking about classes. Come on.
You guys
This is
remember
Witch Doctor
Utu?
Utu. Yep.
This is Witch Doctor Utu. You
we
got to
inter-
hear
his
him.
face now.
Right.
I get to see the wonderful face. This is Utu.
Hey, everybody.
We love Utu.
He wrote, as you will recall, Conjuring Harriet Mama Moses Tubman and
It's
the
a
Spirits of the
wonderful
Underground
book.
Railroad, which we recommended.
Yes.
Highly recommend.
Yep.
Highly.
Well, for that blessing you guys did for putting me on the show, I did want to bring you all for your household a voodoo doll that is sort of protects. You put it above your door, above your window, and it will help ward off negativity. Any bad juju coming your way, because you're stars with the show. You're bound to be somebody that's jealous, and this little guy will help. You just anoint him and put him above your door, your window, and that's from me to your family. And I wanted to say thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you.
I knew
That's
before
great.
they all went away, the three pagans and the cat should have a voodoo doll to protect
Thank you
everybody.
so much.
That's very
Isn't this
sweet.
wonderful? This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is going up on our home as soon as we get home and have anointed and it's wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you.
And you can call him a name. You can do whatever you want.
I'm absolutely going to give him a name.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely
I'm that
we'll-
person.
We'll have to discern what his name is.
Yep.
He has a name.
Yeah. There's one deep in there
There's
somewhere.
one deep
Yep.
in there. So thank you.
No problem, guys. Much love.
All right. Well,
Thanks,
we love
you
you too. All right. Again, if you have not read Witch Doctor
I don't know
Utu's
how many
book,
times we can recommend
Recommend
that y'all
this
read
book.
this, but
But read the
Pick
dang
it up.
book.
read the
Yeah.
dang book.
it's history, it's magic,
It's
really,
it's
really
a
fascinating.
grimoire.
The stories, my favorite part is the stories about the lost spirits, the people who didn't make it, all the way to the end of the railroad, who didn't get to Canada.
Yeah.
There are several spirits in the Underground Railroad complex who have sort of these mythical stories about them. We don't know their names, but they're known spirits who work with followers of this tradition, followers of this path. And I find their stories really, really compelling. So that's my favorite part of the book.
Exactly.
So pick it up so you can read them.
So it's part history, part grimoire,
Mhm.
and it's just absolutely wonderful. So
Yeah.
Witch Doctor Utu, Conjuring Harriet Mama Moses Tubman, and the
Spirits of the Underground Railroad.
Yep.
Get it.
Yes.
And there's some really interesting symbology in there,
Yeah.
that pulls from trail signs. It's just a really good
It's
book.
a good book.
I think my favorite part was John Brown.
John Brown.
Yep.
Yep.
So.
Captain John Brown.
Yep.
So anyway, I was telling you about the magic mirrors. I asked Michaela if she'd be willing to come on the podcast sometime in the next day or two. So hopefully she'll wander over here, either tonight or tomorrow.
And we'll be able to catch her.
And we'll be able to catch
Sunday,
her,
yeah.
or Sunday, and she'll be able to tell us a little bit more about her family tradition for creating these scrying mirrors, because it's really fascinating, completely different than anything I've seen or heard as far as the making of scrying mirrors in that you get in the store.
Right.